Yes, indeed. Welcome into another episode of Rip N Riff here on the Rip N Riff YouTube channel. That over there is at Mr. Jared Moore. I am at Pucking Thoughts, Adam Bernard. It is opening day of NFL free agency. We've got the NHL Trade Deadline in the books. We'll be commenting on both of those as we rip some packs. Also, last week, made sure to go make a stop at the store, and I got some Upper Deck Series 2. We'll go through the pack ripping lineup in a moment, but yeah, excited for that. Obviously, the Matt Schaefer possibilities. When I went into the store to my local hobby shop, right, maybe 10 minutes away, I got the last box on the shelf. He's like, "Yeah, I've been ripping through my inventory of that today," and I went like the first day it was available. So I don't know how much more you had left, but those boxes were going. People want Matt Schaefer, but also like I would be remiss if I didn't mention, obviously conference tournament week for college basketball person. So it's a good time of the year for sports.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff
World
going
Baseball
on.
Classic.
There's a lot of stuff going on. We obviously have all the football free agency stuff that we'll get to throughout the show, I'm sure, as news will be coming in fast and furious. I feel like it also doesn't help. I literally just woke up like 15 minutes ago, so I'm still getting caught up on stuff that's already happened. But yeah, I'm excited to see if if my team does anything stupid.
So far, the Jets got Minka Fitzpatrick, which I like as a player. And like, yeah, I'm fine with it. Like, it was a 7th-round pick, whatever. Cool. We upgraded our defense. We upgraded our secondary. Like, great. Like, I'm not going to be against moves like that if they're only going to cost a 7th-round pick. You know what I mean? Like, that's fine by me.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. I mean, I do question why the Dolphins are that hard up for a 7th-round pick that they're willing to trade a 29-year-old 5-time Pro Bowler in division, but whatever, it is what it is.
Miami can do whatever they want. That's fine by me. But we'll talk about maybe, you said 2-0, Rashad and Gary got traded. We'll get into all that a little bit later. But let's get into the pack ripping lineup here. There we go. So we got plenty of hockey today and a little football to close things out later.
That's a very college football-ish music bet there. I kind of, even though college football is not really in season right now, I kind of dig it.
No, it is college football-y, but it's all seasons. Get you going. It gets you ready to open some cards and
yeah, anything with a nice drum line we can go with. So we're yeah. I
we
want
are
to get
pro
some
percussion here.
Yes, exactly. I wanted to get some older hockey cards here. So we got the 2010 11 Pinnacle cards. We'll see how many of these players I actually recognize, only because I wasn't watching a lot of hockey in the mid to late 2000s. I guess from like 06 to like 10. I wasn't paying that close attention in the league at the time. So like, perfect example. Here's Tom Wandell with the Dallas Stars there.
Wow, I remember. Yeah, I remember that player. That's a great shot, though. No, you don't see a lot of hits like that anymore.
No, you don't. And boy, I'm trying to figure out who that is that's like jumping on his back there, because that's not Wandell's the player in the bottom there.
91 for the Oilers. Fernando Pisani. I don't know. He wore 36.
Yeah. So there you go. While we're at it, throwback to the old Atlanta Thrashers here with Nick Antropov.
Oh yeah, he was a good player. Antropov. Rangers acquired him at a trade deadline one year as well. I remember he was a big guy, and I think he was out of Kazakhstan. No, I'm being serious. I think he was like.
No, I always used to pick like Kazakhstan when in like the NHL video games, because they were always the worst team.
Yeah,
and I was just thinking back to there was one time when I was at my buddy's house. We're playing NHL, whatever year it was, and he picked like Team Canada, and I picked Kazakhstan. And I beat him like 6-1. It was the highlight of my video game career.
So the one you remember, you maybe you get you like a little like commemorative like plaque or something. Let's see.
Yes. Let's see. A player who had a long productive career here with Paul Stastny here with the Avalanche.
There we go. Stasny, part of the infamous Stasny family, going back to the WHA days.
Longtime Flyer here. Here's a picture with the LA Kings, Wayne Simmons.
He just recently retired. Great, really good career. Solid power forward. Even later in his career, found his role as a fourth line player and did it well.
Yep. We have an Icebreakers card here with Johan Harju.
Oh, that's the one you want right there. That's the icebreaker, because that was their like equivalent of a Young Guns, I guess. Icebreakers.
Yep, I guess so. Let's see. Thomas Plekanec with the Canadians. Feels like he was on the Canadians forever.
He was. That's why it was a big deal when he played on the Leafs, even though for a little while.
Let's see. Scotty Upshaw here with the Yotes.
Now the Utah Mammoth, who are likely playoff bound. I think short of a collapse, they'll get that top wild card spot. And then I think there's like 3 teams battling for that last wild card spot. But I think Utah, not to call them a lock, but I would be very surprised if they didn't finish as one of the wild card teams.
No, the West is very top heavy. I mean, the 3 best teams are all in the Central with Colorado, Dallas, and Minnesota. You could put Dallas and Minnesota, whatever order you want to put them in, but those are the 3 best teams. I guess like either Anaheim or Vegas is going to wind up winning the Pacific. The Oilers will be in the mix there somewhere when it's all said and done. They'll probably be one of the playoff teams. You mentioned Utah already. So, yeah, I guess that last spot's probably going to come down to like
Seattle, LA, San Jose.
Right.
And if you want to believe Nashville, because Nashville didn't sell at the deadline. So
no, they did a little bit. They did sell. Like they traded away like Michael Bunting, and they traded some other guys too. Michael McCarron was traded to the Wild.
But I mean, they still have the guy like Ryan O'Reilly's there. I know Stamkos' name got thrown around. Marchessault's name got thrown around. They have the guys that are driving the offense, and then so if they went on a run, they could keep themselves in the mix. But I think anybody outside of those teams is out at this point.
By the way, I had to interrupt you. I literally look at the TV and I wince at these contract numbers. Alec Pierce, 4 times 114 million with the Indianapolis Colts. He's staying in Indy.
That they're hoping that he rewards them with that, because I know he started to come around this season, but it was a long simmer with him before he started to cook. So hopefully it wasn't just a 1-year thing. I gave up on him in Dynasty this last year. I traded him straight up for, I think it was Kevin Byard III, because I needed at DB, and I'm fine with the move, because I'm also very deep at receiver in that league, so I can make that move in that scenario. But back to the NHL there. Yeah,
yep. Daniel Alfredson with the Sens.
I thought they're trying to battle their way in the very tough East as well. They didn't give up. They added Warren Fogle from Kings. They're trying to go for it. A little bit to a degree.
Alex Ovechkin. Yeah, we actually have 2 active cards to finish out this pack. Alex Ovechkin, who's obviously still kicking with the Washington Capitals, and Victor Hedman here with the Tampa Bay Lightning. And the Lightning and Sabres playing one of the games of the regular season last night, with Buffalo winning that one 8-7.
Those two have they enjoy playing. Either they really enjoy playing each other, or they hate playing each other.
I think they hate playing each other, judging from last night's game.
I don't know. Those guys, when they were all crammed in the penalty box together, that felt like a fun moment for the boys. Like, hey, look at us. We're all in here. You only get those kind of moments out of that kind of hatred, But
there's nothing funnier than when there's like 5 or 6 players in the penalty box all at the same time.
I mean, you really 3 guys can sit, and that's about it at that point. Maybe you squeeze a 4th in there if everybody really, tries to be small.
All right, one more pack here.
So let's talk about our teams respectively here. The Rangers, they, overall they got, Panarin, Soucy, people were expecting Trocheck, but I mean, with the term he has left, that's going to take a big thing to pry it out of there. So like, I'm not, people like maybe Drury should have settled for whatever he could have gotten. And that's with the guy with term like that, maybe make that move in the offseason if you're really desperate. If you're really looking to just get rid of the, what the remaining quote unquote core 4 is for the Rangers right now, which is Miller, Zibanejad, Lafreniere, and Trocheck. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they try to move off 1 or 2 of them in the offseason. I don't know. Fox
There's
also
no
apparently
there
wasn't
was
happy.
no reason for the Rangers to settle in a Vincent Trocheck trade. Like, he's got 3 more years left on his contract. It's a good number. He's not going to dramatically drop off as a player in the next 2 months where, like, those offers should still be there in the summer. Like, if they want to move him this summer, they'll get a healthy return for it because, he's a quality middle six center who can play in all situations. He's signed for 3 more years. He only has a 10-team no trade list, so like he doesn't have a lot of say in where he can block trades, and that's a good number. A lot of teams are going to be able to fit that in, especially with the salary cap continuing to increase. So like I don't blame Drury for holding out there for the best return. I thought Drury did fine at the deadline, like getting a third and a sixth for Sam Carrick. I think pretty
Eric,
good
I forgot about
business.
him.
I mean, like, they didn't move like Braden Schneider, but I'm not sure how much value Braden Schneider really has, and that's another guy. He still has a couple years of control. They don't have to move him now if they're not getting the package they're looking for. So
And they also have to dress 6 NHL defensemen every night. So sometimes there's more value in keeping the guy and letting him just play and having that spot locked up, at least for the short term. Yeah.
he's still a developing player too. Like, it's not the worst thing in the world. Like, if you're gonna play him second line minutes for the rest of the season and basically like throw him to the fire, like, that's not the worst thing for his development.
It's low pressure. Like, hey, if you lose, you improve our lottery chances. And if you win, great. You're helping we could using that as momentum towards next year. It's the thing. Like, if they want to, that's what it seemed like. A lot of the players that were being discussed about moving, like Robert Thomas being another one, seems more like that'll be more likely to happen over the summer when more teams could be in on it. Also, going back to a 10-team no trade list, I think that's a reasonable balance of like a no movement clause. You know what I mean? Because like 10 teams is basically like asking management, don't be a dick and send me to like, one of these teams where I'm like, it gives you a little bit of say of like, don't go anywhere, but you're still leaving enough possibilities to get a good return for the GM back.
For most players, that 10-team no trade list is usually, yeah, don't send me to Canada, and here's a handful of other teams that are like bottom feeders. Don't send me to them.
I wouldn't say all of Canada, but definitely like if you could avoid sending me to Winnipeg or Ottawa, that would be great. That would be too probably.
But in
Calgary.
Trocheck's case, like, because I know there's a lot of reports out there, like, he really wants to stay east. Like, in his case, it might just be like, don't send me to California, don't send me to Vegas. Well, Vegas probably would be on there, but like, don't send me to Utah, Seattle.
That's it, like, and apparently they're asking, whatever the asking price was, Minnesota didn't want to do it, and that's fine. But yeah, that's the thing. Like, how far west is he still considering close enough to east? Like, obviously Pittsburgh being his hometown would probably be a perfect balance, but see what bottom line is he's not going anywhere. Rangers overall, if you factor in everything from Panarin, Susie onward, was fine. But see what they do. I still don't trust Drury to handle retool, rebuild, whatever they want to brand it in their heads as. I don't trust him to handle it.
No, we've talked about that before. I
Yeah.
mean, they did a good job like restocking like some of the assets, even though like now they have a million third-round picks this year, which is not nothing. Like, they could certainly draft some players. They could certainly turn around and use them to trade for wherever they want to trade for, I suppose. But do we want to do the Devils real quick, or do we want to move on?
No, I think we could do the Devils.
Well, the
Talk
Devils
about
did nothing, so we can move on. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, they sat back. They excuse me. They stood pat at the deadline. They didn't do anything. I don't love that they didn't do anything at the deadline, only because I feel like they had assets to sell, especially on the blue line with some of their defensemen that they had out there. I'm not saying they should have made the Simone Nemec trade right now, but like the fact Dougie Hamilton's still on this team, at some point, like, you just move on. Like, you want to move on from the player. Like, at some point, just move on from the guy. Like Simone, Jonas Siegenthaler's still there. Brendan Dillon's still there. I know these guys still have at least 1 year of control left. I think Siegenthaler has 2, but like, yeah, the Devils just basically just stood pat. They didn't add, but they also didn't sell, and I'm not sure what that necessarily means for Tom Fitzgerald and his future as the general manager of the New Jersey Devils.
I don't. You would like to have seen. Maybe Hamilton is another one of those guys that falls into in the summer at the draft before free agency, that kind of thing. That's certainly possible there. I Maybe they're hoping to have some of those guys that still have 1 year of term left to be something they can flip at next year's deadline for a different area of need. Um, yeah, but I mean, Tom Fitzgerald not doing anything when his reputation is to not do anything. That's a way to go. And nobody's saying he
It
should
was
have
on brand. Yeah.
and like that's not to say he should have made a major trade for the sake of a shakeup and because I never do anything, I have to do something. But again, too, the asking prices across the league. I mean, you saw what Nicholas Waugh got in Colorado, and that kind of ruined the rest of the market, or at least the centers. But maybe that rose the asking price for everything across the board, and that's why we saw such a lackluster actual trade deadline day of not that many moves besides the Kadri and John Carlson being the two biggest, I would say.
All right, I'm going to throw a few names out there, and you could tell me whether or not, if you were the Devils, you would do this. I'm not saying you would necessarily trade this player straight up for any of these players, but
I
would
did want to
you?
ask you about the rumored Nemec William Eklund deal. I don't know if you saw that one.
I did see that one. That one has been since debunked.
Yeah.
I feel like I would try to aim a little bit higher than William. With all due respect to William Eklund, I would try to aim a little bit higher. So, if you were Tom Fitzgerald, would you trade Simone Nemec for Jordan Kyrou?
Yeah, you need help on the wing, and Kyrou, I think, yeah, I would probably do that.
All right. Would you trade him for Matthew Nyes?
No, and only because I feel like they're both kind of at the same level in terms of where their development's going. And defenseman, if Nemec can be a really good defenseman, that to me is worth more. As great as good as Nyes is, and does the things you need away from the puck and can still put the puck in the net. I'd rather have Nemec.
All right, I got one more. Would you trade Simone Nemec for Shane Wright?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, everybody knows that Seattle wants to move on from Shane Wright. It gives you a little more center depth. It protects against maybe Heishier saying, you know what, I've had it after next year and go somewhere else.
Which, by the way, I don't think enough people are talking about.
So it covers you there. And let's face it. I mean, look at what these teams, we talk about the three best teams in the NHL being in the division. What did they all address? They all not Dallas, but everybody went down the middle. Colorado has 5 legitimate centers now. So even if they lose one, they still have 4 natural quality centers they can run down the middle. Minnesota thought we were going to see them make a move for a center. They didn't. So they decided to get tougher. Same thing with Dallas. They got Myers on the blue line. They added Bunting. Minnesota did a lot of work on their bottom 6. So we'll see what, Colorado is also kind of in that Vegas mentality of like, damn the future. We're in it to win right now.
Championship teams are built down the middle.
Yes.
I think we've seen that a lot in recent years. You saw that with Florida. I mean, when Florida's got Anton Lundell on the third as their third line center, like that's how you know how deep they are at that position. You saw how deep Vegas was at center when they won their championship with Chandler Stevenson, with Wild Bill, with Eichel, and all those guys. And they had Nick Waugh as well, so that's just a perfect example. Yeah, I think if I could turn him into a center, I don't know necessarily that Shane Wright's the guy, only because I haven't seen enough of him where I don't know if he's going to necessarily take that next step as a player in his development. But like, I'd prefer to target like a center than over a wing. I, I guess this comes back to the Devils making that pick and taking him over Logan Cooley or Shane Wright, because that was the same draft.
See, that's the thing. Like, at least with Kyrou, and I know he's on the wing, so that maybe hurts his value a tiny bit in a trade, but Kyrou's shown he can put the puck in the net, and having somebody that can help make that top 6 deeper a little bit, because we all know Brat's been inconsistent.
Is Kyrou more of a left wing or a right wing?
I think he plays more on the right.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, because like you're telling me you can't build a quality line with Jack Hughes, Arseny Gritsuk on the left wing, and Jordan Kyrou on the right wing. Like what are we doing here?
Yeah, absolutely. That'll again. Brad's been inconsistent, but I think in a true second line role, maybe he plays a little bit better.
Yeah.
So there you go. So
All right, one more pack here. Sorry to keep interrupting you,
that's
but I
fine.
figure
Yeah, no,
we'll
I'm
get back to
excited.
that. Yeah, no, I figure we wanted to spend some time on
Oh,
the
absolutely.
trade
I'll
deadline
talk
stuff
about the
here.
Sharks too as we move.
But we got Saku Koivu here, the longtime Anaheim Duck there with their ugly uniforms there. Patrick Sharp here with the Chicago Blackhawks. Let's see. Anze Kopitar, who will be retiring at the end of the year here, battling for position there.
He just played his 1500th NHL game, and I believe he was only either the 7th or 9th person to reach that with one team. So good for him. That raises he get what if he's walking away this year, sometime next year you're raising his banner. He gets the next season treatment, like automatic.
Yep. Kari Lettinen here with the Dallas Stars there.
Kari Lettinen, another former Thrasher. We were talking about the Thrashers earlier.
Yep. Sergei Bobrovsky, we'll turn back the clock on this one. Here's Sergei Bobrovsky as a Philadelphia Flyer.
Wow. That's pre-Columbus. That's going back.
Yep. Let's see. Ray Whitney here with the
he was with a lot of teams, so
I guess it's the this must have been like a Coyotes third jersey. I really
that
don't
was the Desert Dog jersey.
Yeah, the Desert Dog, man.
No more. Now they're a woolly mammoth.
I gotta see if we can get like a Desert Dog hat.
I have a Coyotes hat because once they went away, I'm like, let me buy their merchandise because they're not going to make any more of it. So
yeah. Let's see. Ryan Kessler here with the Canucks.
Speaking about centers in the playoffs, Ryan Kessler is certainly somebody that wanted in your lineup at his peak during the playoffs.
Yep. Brian Elliott here with the Sens. Let's see. Steven Stamkos still kicking around in the league here with the obviously here with the Lightning, but
yeah, I knew he wasn't going to trade. Like, there was no way like he signed that deal and be like, all right, you know what, I'm out after a year. Like, that wasn't happening. Like, that just no way. Not unless like he was like going to a team like a Colorado or something like hey, I got a chance to get a real chance to get a cup here.
I think he would have waived to go to Tampa. I think if he could have gotten back to Tampa, I think he would have done it. But other than that, like
there might have been like 3 or 4 teams he would have waived it for, and that's it.
Yeah. And last but not least, Devils legend here, Patrick Elias.
There we go. Yeah, and absolutely Devils legend. There we go.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's the top forward in offensive, top offensive forward in history. We'll be seeing. How about that? The Chiefs are signing Kenneth Walker.
The Chiefs. All right, so I guess they're not taking Jeremiah Love in the first round.
I guess not.
No, your TV is roughly, we'll say 7 seconds ahead of mine. Let me just make sure I'm not like accidentally on slight delay. No, I'm live. There we go. So you get the slightly ahead of me. I love that move. I love that move. Like, hey, Patrick Mahomes, he's still got plenty left in the tank, but now you have a legitimate running back. The Chiefs offense is going to look completely different this year.
That Chiefs running game has been dreadful the last couple of years. Basically, since Isaiah Pacheco got hurt a couple of years ago, he just hasn't been the same player to the point where like I'm watching all these games, like Pacheco can barely move. Like I got out early on my Pacheco shares in Dynasty. I do like the fit. I was kind of hoping the Chiefs would draft a running back so I could get the next Chiefs running back because I don't have any Kenneth Walker shares, so it is what it is. But I do love that fit though. The Chiefs are going to be right back in the playoffs. They had their off year, but like as long as Mahomes comes back fine from this torn ACL, like they're going to be right back in the mix this year.
They'll be back in the playoffs. They could even win the division. Here's the other thing too with the AFC West. I mean, we know the Raiders are full blown rebuild, but Chargers, Broncos, Chiefs. Those are 6 match games this year that are going to be awesome to watch. Those are all going to be dogfights.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun watching those teams beat up on each other. I mean, it's probably still the best division top to bottom in the NFL.
Even factoring in the Raiders. I mean, to me, the AFC West matchups are always cool.
If it's not the AFC West, it's the NFC West. I mean, I know that I know Seattle's got a big loss here with Kenneth Walker, but they draft so well, and I have confidence even with Zach Charbonnet with the injury there. I feel like they'll be able to find another running back. They'll probably be fine.
I'm not worried. The Seahawks will figure it out. That they look like an organization that's really buttoned up and defending champs as well. The Rams made the move like McDuffie. We'll do a little more free agency later. We got some hockey we want to get back into here, and I'm excited to maybe pull a Michael Schaefer Young Guns or even a Michael Misa Young Guns, the second overall pick with the Sharks. I've enjoyed watching him as they've letting him play now. He's technically on the second line, but they shelter his minutes. So he plays on a line with Toffoli and William Eklund. So that's working out well for him. Sharks, they made their move at the deadline when they brought in Kiefer Sherwood. Instead of flipping him, they got him to extend on what I thought was a reasonable 5-year, $5.75 million deal. He's appropriate to be on the Sharks because he forechecks like a shark that is locked in on its prey. Like, watch Sherwood play when he's attacking. He brings energy. He brings an edge, but he brings energy. He's exactly what that team's going to need for a bit. So he's been an exciting player to watch. And I was at the Sharks Islanders game on Saturday. Didn't get the win, but still a good game to watch nonetheless. First card here actually is a former Shark, I guess, Carl Grundstrom there. So we'll start there. Our favorite horizontal cards here. There's a few to start the pack here. Next up, Jaden Schwartz from the Kraken. I know they're in the playoff mix, and it's not that I doubt them. I just feel like they're going to be that team that, in the end, falls just a little short. I just feel like, compared to like the Sharks or, the Kings, I don't feel like they have the same amount going for them.
I just don't like the general direction of the Seattle Kraken. And it seems like they built their team to be like that 6th or 7th best team in the Western Conference, where maybe they sneak into the playoffs, and I guess they're just hoping to steal around or something. But that's not how I would have built the team if I were them. But they've obviously they made their decisions. They just extended Jordan Eberle for a couple more years as well. So they're very much looking to keep the band together there. So we shall see.
We shall see as I work on my camera here, because I'm going to have to switch cameras for the next episode. I'm not loving the way this one operates. In fact, we're going to just take this down. And all right, finally settled on something halfway decent there. Let's do the next card in the pack as we continue the horizontal theme here. Jack Eichel, key player, obviously, for the Golden Knights. I saw this stat last night that Vegas is only beaten 6 teams currently in the playoffs right now. So you talk about how deep that Central is. When it comes to the Pacific, it is probably I hate to use the word weak, but comparatively to the other 3 divisions, weakest division in the NHL. I don't know if that works in the Pacifics because of the way the playoffs work. Will the survivor of Colorado, Dallas, Minnesota, they'll obviously be the better team, but will they be so beat up at that point versus a Vegas team, let's say, that comes out of the Pacific bracket that, they're not a better team, but they're going to be fresher?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I feel like if the Oilers can get any saves from any of their goaltenders, they're probably still the team to beat in the Pacific.
Okay.
Just because they have 2 of the 5 best players in the league with McDavid and Draisaitl, and that's all you need. And even though I thought they overpaid at the deadline for what they went out and acquired, I thought they got what they needed. Like, Jason Dickinson's a good fit on that team as a shutdown bottom 6 defensive center. Connor Murphy's going to help their penalty kill. I thought those were smart acquisitions. If I were them, I would have gone a step further and try to get a goaltender. Like, I get the Capsa thing, and I don't know what else they could have given up to potentially make it happen. If I were them, I would have been all in on Jordan Binnington. Like, I don't think it would have cost a ton to go get him. And, that might have been a situation where maybe you could flip Jari there or something, and, where the math works with the cap or something. But I feel like they need to do something in that. Now, maybe it'll just turn out that they'll just ride whoever the hot hand is, whether it's
Ingram or Jari.
Ingram or Jari, or if Pickett's still there, they give him a shot, or whoever it is, whoever they get who's only giving up 2 goals a game, they're gonna play. So it is what it is there. But I still think Edmonton's the team beat in that division.
For me, I might even if Anaheim keeps rolling along, I might say it's them because they've beaten Vegas every time they've played them this year. When they play against Edmonton, it's always a high-scoring game, so it can go either way. So Anaheim would be my team out of the Pacific as of right now. We'll see how they close down the stretch because Vegas, no Mark Stone right now, no William Karlsson. Maybe they start heating up if those guys come back. But yeah, I agree with Edmonton. Like they're not in a position to really make a ton of big moves. Like, yeah, maybe you try for Bennington, but that's what you need is like guys like Dickinson that can at least give you another line to roll out besides your top two that you can trust. So,
but if you're the Oilers, like you have this short window with McDavid, and like I get they've already traded so many futures, like, but at some point, like you just got to be like, screw it, put the 28 first on the table, trade whatever seconds are left. You got to do whatever you got to do to get over the hump here in the next couple of years, because if you don't, like, there's a good chance McDavid's just going to leave.
Well, that's the flip side.
Anyways.
Is if you're McDavid and you're sitting there and you're like, all right, Jason Dickinson's great, but like, and
Right.
and it's
exactly
Connor Murphy, good blue line depth addition, and he's not staying. He's not staying.
You think Connor McDavid was thrilled that the Avalanche at the last second just pulled like a Nazem Kadri out of their hat? Like, that's the difference between an organization like Colorado and Edmonton.
Or even like you look at, okay, fine, Colorado makes that big move. Even you look at the Minnesota and Dallas moves, like, okay, maybe they, and Minnesota made their big move by getting Quinn Hughes earlier this year. But you look at the deadline moves, like Dallas got tougher with Tyler Myers. Tyler Myers is a better defenseman for the playoffs than Connor Murphy. Let's be real. So Dallas gets tougher there. Dallas adds Michael Bunting. Like, all right, we're going to be tougher to play against. Minnesota, same thing. Cole Smith, Michael McCarron. Oh, Cole Smith went to Vegas, excuse me. Michael McCarron is a perfect example of that. He had a couple, I think, last night. So it's got to be frustrating in Edmonton. Vancouver kind of made they moved Quinn Hughes. They moved Kiefer Sherwood earlier before the deadline. They made a couple other minor moves, but nothing crazy there.
They also moved Connor Garland. They got out of that contract, which was, I think, a smart move by them. And I don't hate Columbus necessarily being the team to buy in on a Connor Garland, because Columbus, it's tough to get guys to go there in general. So they were able to make that deal happen and get him. But I think that was actually a pretty good move by Vancouver, getting out of that contract before it kicked in.
I think it was a good move for them. I feel bad for Connor Garland. You think like, all right, Vancouver, beautiful city. I'm willing to go through what's probably going to be a rebuild here. Let me sign for 6 years. Bam. But I mean, that's a good move for them. And he'll contribute and he'll be a player for them. Talked about the Golden Knights a little while ago. There's Riley Smith. Another Victor Hedman, second Victor Hedman. Maybe a little lightning there. They get Corey Perry at the deadline. Them in Buffalo, and it's appropriate that the Cards are back to back because there's Alex Tuck wearing jerseys they were wearing last night for that 8-7 100+ penalty minute affair. I think only the 15th time in NHL history that's happened or something like that. But
I'm going to sound like
in the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm going to sound like the biggest hater. I'm still not buying the Buffalo Sabres as legitimate like Stanley Cup contenders.
I don't think see, that's the problem, is everything is very extreme in today's society, and not buying them as Stanley Cup contenders doesn't mean that you're disparaging them. They are obviously a playoff team at this point, and yes, they could easily win a round. Maybe they steal a second round, but Alex, and I understand what Colorado's doing with Mackenzie Blackwood and Scott Wedgwood. They're also the Avalanche with Cale Makar on their blue line, and look at how the center depth we talk about. Alex Lyon, like Pekka Luukkonen, I don't know if those guys are taking you to a cup. And that's, again, this has been a fantastic season for the Sabres. They needed this. They're going to end the playoff drought. Like we said, they could win a round or two. I'm not buying them as cup contenders yet either. I'm with you. I mean, if you pick, so they play, let's say, Detroit or Montreal, you'd pick them over both of those teams in the first round?
If they play Detroit or Montreal?
Yeah. Because that's who you're looking at. Or maybe they win the division. Let's say
if it's Buffalo, Detroit, I'm picking Detroit.
Detroit over Buffalo. Interesting. That's the one team I would see. I would consider Montreal over Buffalo, but Buffalo, Detroit, I would take Buffalo.
I think Detroit is more built for playoff hockey. Like, Detroit built their team to basically be like, what if we built like a diet version of the Florida Panthers? Like the Detroit might be the dirtiest not Florida team in the league with their physicality and just how much they press the issue. And I feel like that's going to be ramped up to 11 once the playoffs start. And like I totally get it. You're in the same division as a team like Florida that physically is beating your brains in the last few years. So like I totally get that. Um, I think Florida is just as deep as Buffalo, if not deeper. My only concern with Detroit is, I guess similar to my concern with Buffalo, where I don't necessarily know that I trust John Gibson or Cam Talbot in a big spot in net. And Gibson, by the way, we're gonna have to keep an eye on him because he left the game last night against the Devils early, so Talbot had to finish that one out. But I mean, Detroit's good, man. They got a lot of depth. Mo Sider's a legit top defenseman in the league. Dylan Larkin is such a huge part of what they do. He didn't even play last night.
Well, that's another factor too, is how long is he going to be out for? Because that affects their positioning in the standings too.
That certainly does. And I'm not the biggest Dylan Larkin fan, but hopefully for their sake, he's not out for very long. But if it's Detroit Buffalo in the first round, I'm picking Detroit.
See, the thing to me in the Atlantic is there's a lot of matchups you go either way on, but to me, like Vasilevsky is the ultimate, cider in terms of at least how the Atlantic bracket shakes out for me. And I know Buffalo got to him 2 games ago, and that's all good and well. But
I'm not reinventing the wheel here. Like I think Tampa's coming out of the East.
I would say probably Carolina, but yeah, to me, Carolina, Tampa, they're on a collision course for the conference finals right now. Like I would. Well, I'm not going to say lock that in, but that's probably where it's heading. Yeah. Speaking of the Atlantic, Tim Stutzler there. What else we got here? Now we get to the inserts. We got a Boomtown for Martin Pospisil from the Flames. He was the one Calgary Flame to go to the Olympics. Not the best picture for a Boomtown.
Good for him.
What?
Good for him.
He got out of Calgary for a couple of weeks. I mean, he looks like the one that's getting boomed there, though. So that's not the best card. Like, he's the one that looks like he's getting hit. So maybe a better picture next time.
Yeah.
This one is not the best named of subsets, insert series, all that stuff. If you know, you know. Lane Hudson. Let's see here. And then we got Matty Duchesne. Encore. Dallas we talked about. And then you'll like this one. This is a checklist card, but they actually make the checklist cards actually appealing now. It's a Jack Hughes, Cole Caulfield combo there.
Yeah, I mean, they're both Team USA National Hockey Development Team alumni. So I guess it would make sense that you pair the two of them together on a one card. And, Jack Hughes having a big weekend this weekend with the hat trick over the New York Rangers nationally televised game on ABC. So I personally enjoyed that very much. Jack Hughes, I don't want to say he hates the Rangers because I don't think that's necessarily how he looks at it, but he gets up for games against that team.
He understands the rivalry. He understood the assignment. All right, we're going to blow through this last pack quickly here because I wanted to do 2 packs. If I'm going to crack that hobby box open, we're going to get our money's worth here. We start with Fedor Svechnikov from the Predators. Didn't really do a lot at the deadline. We got Ryan Graves with the Penguins. This is not what we definitely opened the better of the 2 packs to start. Whatever, if you want to stay on the stack, that's your problem. Philip Grubauer, the Kraken. We talked about them earlier today. Let's see here. We got Andre Palat, pitcher with the Devils, now an Islander. And then didn't they waive Siplikov, the guy they got back in that trade?
They did waive Siplikov. They made they waived a few players right before the deadline, just because they wanted to. I guess they wanted to have a little flexibility with the cap, just in case they were able to go and add something. But they wound up not doing it. Like Siplikov's still in the Devils, even though he cleared waivers, they could send him down. But he played Saturday, he didn't play last night. And please put another card up there because I'm tired of looking at Andre Palat's butt.
There we go. We got Keegan Colasar. What about Jordan Greenway's clearly happy to be dressing and playing that night for the Sabres. Let's see what we got here.
I mean, the vibes are immaculate in Buffalo right now, so I get it if he's all smiles right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You can't doubt them as a team that's going to be a in the playoffs and to be feared, but like to automatically put them in the Stanley Cup contender conversation, like, no, I need to see you do it in the playoffs a little bit first. Like that's the first step.
Right. And like, you know how I feel about Lindy Ruff teams in general. I feel like when you don't defend, like Lindy Ruff teams generally don't defend, like your upside is capped in terms of how far you can actually go.
We got Kevin Hayes with the Penguins there. I think he's played on like half the Metropolitan Division. Pavel Zacha, fresh off a hat trick in the loss to the Penguins yesterday. For the Bruins, they are a team that's on the cusp, but they'll probably get into the I think they'll get there.
I think you're getting 5 teams out of the Atlantic.
I don't listen. I'm not ruling Columbus out yet. Columbus has been.
I want to rule Columbus out, but I think you're getting 5 out of the Atlantic.
I think you're going to get. I think Columbus could weave their way in as a wild card. I think, yeah, and more likely 5 out of the Atlantic. And then to wrap up the base cards here, former Devil, current Shark. That's a sharp shot of Shakir Mukhamadullin, who's now become a staple on the second pairing. Ever since having his wife gave birth recently, he's been on a tear. So Papa Power there. Good for him though. I'd like to. He's a big guy. He's like the perfect like second pairing, where he's becoming like second power play, second penalty kill, like that kind of guy. Felt nice.
I wonder if the Devils had a time machine, if they would go back and undo the Timo Meier trade.
For sure, absolutely, I think so. Because Meier, like maybe this year he's starting a little bit, but yeah, he hasn't delivered on what he was supposed to so far. Young guns here, Matvei Green from the Calgary Flames, or Gradine. And then we've got our third Victor Hedman card of the day here from the Slaps one. So it's definitely Victor Hedman's day here on Rip N Riff. And then last but not least, an encore of Elias Pettersson, another guy that was talked about maybe getting more likely in the draft or over the summer, I should say, get traded.
It's such a big number. And the other thing is he just hasn't played all that well the last few years. Like he needs to have a big season before I think you can kind of maximize his value. Like if I were the Canucks, I'd probably just hold on to him for now and just be like, look, you need to have a better year. Like we'll put you on the top line with Besser and like whoever else we have. And like, we'll do whatever we can to pump up your stats. But like if you want out of here, like you got to play better so we can maximize that return.
Absolutely. So there we go. There's all the hockey cards for the day. Let's get to some NFL cards here because we did talk a little free agency as news has been coming down as we record. Now, this is not a set that's going to make you rich by any imagination. Looking for like maybe a Favre rookie, Montana insert. That's a cool Barry Sanders shot there with one of the rare times Lawrence Taylor being left in the dust by somebody, understandably in that one. Here we go. One pack of cards here is Jared checks the see any more signings there. Kyler Murray to Minnesota, the Vikings. That seems to be the likely landing spot for him. We'll see how that works out for him.
I know Kyler Murray wants that. Do the Vikings actually want that?
That's a great question. I don't know. Maybe Kevin O'Connell sees something. I don't know, but who knows? We start with Jim Breach with the Bengals. Place kicker there. Apparently, Joe Burrow out with Jessica Alba. Good for him, by the way.
Good for him, indeed. Yes.
There's nothing else to say to that. There's really nothing else to add. Good for you, my man. Hope they actually get you some more protection in Cincinnati at some point. Yeah, this is going to be a garbage pack. We could talk about teams as they come up here. We got Sam Seal, Chargers defensive back. Next up, this is what I get for buying a pack off eBay. Johnny Holland, Packers. They trade Rashawn Gary earlier today. So we'll see what else happens out of Green Bay. Got the Bears. Lemuel Stinson. We haven't talked about the Bills getting DJ Moore out of Chicago. We've always talked about, hey, Josh Allen has never really, besides Stephon Diggs, has never really had a true obvious number one receiver. Now they have that in DJ Moore.
And now they still don't, because DJ Moore is probably not a number one receiver anymore.
He's probably not a number one receiver anymore, but at least they're going to try and get one more good season out of him. I think the Bills, new stadium opening, which the stadium is done early. How often does that happen? That's got to be a good omen, either a great omen or a terrible omen. The stadium's almost never ready early. They're always right up to the deadline or get pushed back. But it's a big year for Buffalo, so I can see them going all out to maybe make something happen.
Would you like a little NFL news here?
I would love some NFL news. man.
The Colts are trading wide receiver Michael Pittman to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, we don't know the return on that yet, but that's an interesting move. So you got him and DK Metcalf still there, or is he a free agent?
No, Metcalf signed an extension when he got traded.
That's right. He just signed the extension. So, wow, Metcalf and
it's a
Pittman.
late round pick swap between the two teams.
That's a. Those
So
are
they basically
big,
just gave him away.
those are
Well, I
big
mean, they
items.
also just gave Alec Pierce $31 million. So
That's. I mean, I know him and Daniel Jones have some chemistry, but that's putting a lot of eggs in the Alec Pierce basket.
speaking of putting a lot of eggs in a basket, Jalen Phillips, 4 years, $120 million with the Carolina Panthers. So he'll be leaving the Philadelphia Eagles. And I'm looking up right as we speak, the Dolphins are signing Malik Willis, which not really surprising. Here's the numbers on him. 3 years, $67.5 million, $45 million fully guaranteed.
You know, I don't mind that move. See, that's the kind of move. It's just popping up on my screen now too. That's the kind of move I wish the Jets would make. Like, 3-year deal, so there's no real commitment to him. Like, you know he's going to be your starter this year for sure. And then if you take a quarterback in 2027, he can sit for a year, and you have Willis, and then you have that transitional. That is actually a smart move by the Miami Dolphins.
Well, keep in mind the Dolphins, the GM they just hired came from the Packers. The coach they just hired came from the Packers. So there's obviously a familiarity there as well. They have the connection there. Like, the Dolphins made sense as a landing spot for Malik Willis.
I wish the Jets would make sure like that, because now all of a sudden, like, yeah, nobody's expecting Miami to go to the playoffs next year, but they're at least they'll be a competitive bad team. They won't be. Malik Willis will keep them in games to a degree. I mean, I know you need some pieces around them, but yeah, that's a smart signing there by the Dolphins. 3 years
Since you brought up the Jets, there were rumors over the weekend maybe Geno Smith will be their starting quarterback next year. Speak on this.
I mean, as long as the term makes sense, because let's face it, nobody's similar to the Dolphins. Nobody's expecting playoffs or any sort. If you're expecting more than 3 to 4 victories out of the New York Jets going into 2026, you are delusional. So
yeah,
we just want somebody that can prevent us from getting embarrassed every week. And I feel like Geno Smith has gotten to a point in his career, like, I know he was starting to be a little bit on the decline maybe at the end in Seattle. I'm not going to hold the Raiders' tenure against him. Look, it's the Raiders. Like, I'm not expecting big things out of him. I would prefer a Malik Willis, somebody younger. But if that's what it is, like, I'd prefer him over Kyler Murray or Tua, sure. Because you sign a guy like Geno, you understand there's no long-term commitment. There's no like, hey, what if he has a resurgence? What if he has a really good season and now we have to decide what we're doing here? Like, I feel like Tua's health kind of precludes him from that. But Kyler Murray, he goes to Minnesota and all of a sudden lights it up with Justin Jefferson as his top receiver. Now the Vikings have to decide, is he our guy? Are we looking at a quarterback? I don't know.
By the way, the Colts are saving $24 million against the cap by trading away Michael Pittman, which makes sense because they're also working on a new deal for Daniel Jones as well.
So that makes sense, and they probably try and add another receiver, whether it's in the draft or maybe like a wide receiver too. I guess the Alec Pierce is now the guy. We talked about the Chiefs earlier, signing Kenneth Walker. There's Kevin Porter, defensive back there, KC. So KC back in the mix, and then AFC West. We got Eddie Brown, the Bengals. Yeah, it's a garbage pack. Ronnie Harmon, another AFC West guy. Andy Heck. Now, do we see the chart? Whoever the Seahawks get to fill the void, maybe they look at a running back. They don't have a ton of draft picks. I know that. I think they only have 4 picks in this year's draft, so they're going to have to make what they have count, see what they do to fill the void there to play alongside Charbonnet.
May I interrupt you again? There's going to be a lot of this.
Okay.
The Giants are adding former Ravens tight end Isaiah Likely, 3 years, $40 million, which I think that's a great signing for them. I'm not a Theo Johnson guy. Theo Johnson certainly suffered a case of the drops last year as Giants tight end. Obviously, the Harbaugh connection is there with the New York Giants. I feel like that's the perfect spot for Likely to go and be the tight end one for Jackson Dart moving forward.
I love that move. I love that move as a man that has shares of Isaiah Likely in the Dynasty League, and I have Theo Johnson in the same league, actually. So we'll see if maybe what the Giants do with him, or if he's just relegated to be the tight end too. Yeah, I think that's a great move by. So far, NFL free agency on Monday, delivering early on here. We got Lorenzo White with the old Houston Oilers, now Tennessee Titans. They were apparently in on Kenneth Walker too, so they're clearly starting trying to make getting better and putting a good team there. Let's see. We got Denver Broncos, David Treadwell. Go back to that look. Go back to the old baby blue look with Big D, the helmet. Let's see here. We got Leon Seals with the Bills. We talked about they did so far. We'll see what else they have up their sleeves to help Josh Allen. Also, rest in peace, Cornelius Bennett. He part of those early 90s defensive squads for Buffalo. Speaking of defensive linemen from the early 90s, here's Greg Townsend with the Raiders. The Raiders are taking Fernando Mendoza, right? There's no chance that they're not taking him or they're trading out of the pick. Like they're
taking
the Raiders.
They're taking him.
I'm just, I'd love to see the Raiders do something like crazy like that. Like, somebody just offers them a package that you can't say no. Like a Ricky Williams-esque package.
But if they don't do that, then who's playing quarterback for him next year?
I don't know. Joe Flacco.
Exactly.
And then 2027, you get your guy. Just saying. Problem is, Flacco would probably prevent them from drafting high enough. Like, he'd probably get them to like 5 and 12 or something like that. So there you go. Now, speaking of quarterback picks, I don't need to relive this one, but this is not the rookie I would want to pull, nonetheless. Browning Nagel at his short time as a Jets quarterback. And finally, Greg Lloyd. So garbage pack finishes somewhat okay with a Greg Lloyd and a Browning Nagel rookie, I guess, but not ideal. I have other older football packs that probably would have showed better today. No candidates for pulls of the day there.
No, we can move right on to I Love Lucy. We still have time for that if you want to do that.
We could squeeze that one in. Why not? A little. There we go. So we got time to get that one in. What do we got?
All right, I got 3 of them today. Wanted to get a little more Jack Hughes rookie card share after the Olympics, so we got ourselves the White Diamond Allure rookie card there. So we have
very nice
there. I already have a lot of Jack Hughes rookie stuff, but that's one I didn't have, so I figured we'd add that to the collection. We add another player to the Sal Fasano All Stars here of Yankee players who are with the team for a year or less, and this feels like a fairly obvious one to point out, but Juan Soto is technically a Sal Fasano All Star who's only there for a year.
He's definitely the starting alpha center fielder for.
He'll be the starting right fielder.
Yeah, right fielder. I guess you put it right. You have to figure out who center is, but.
We'll figure it out. I'm not really worried about it. At some point, there will be a graphic made. I'll send you of who is on the Sal Fasano All Star starting lineup.
It'll look like Mr. Burns' original projection for the company.
Yeah, except my starting right fielder won't have been dead for 150 years. And last but not least, wanted to grab another Yankee rookie share. I feel like it's getting harder and harder with baseball because they put out these rookie cards like years before they make their MLB debut. And case in point here, 2023 Bowman first in the line of Spencer Jones with the Yankees. I wanted to get Spencer Jones rookie card, but like I feel like at least with how Bowman does it, it's tough to do that because they just, once these guys are drafted in the system, they just put the cards out like for top prospects there. But we got a Gem in 10 Spencer Jones. I guess you can call it a rookie card there.
That's a nice looking card overall, Gem in 10. That's a smart investment.
I thought so.
I got a few from a recent trip to a hobby shop I could throw down quick before we get out of here. I got this Pacific Crown. This is a 1997 Keyshawn Johnson one looking there.
Ooh, sharp look. I like that.
Yeah, listen, you put a card like that in front of me if I'm flipping through, like it's that was out of the dollar bin, so like clearly I'm getting that. And here's a collector's choice rookie, Keyshawn Johnson right there. Also found a couple of old Jets cards. These are from what year is this? This is I think a 77 Abdul Salam there. And a Greg Buttle. 78, excuse me. So some old school Jets cards. Why not? Then go to the world of hockey the rest of the way here. I got a little Nikolai Hobby-Bulin classic look there. It's a sharp-looking card before he was in the pros. You never know what you're going to find going through fans. That's why I like the movie. And then, I got Mike Greer, little base card, but hey, Sharks GM. Got to grab that guy right there. And then we'll get to some more modern stuff. Artifacts, Adam Graves. We got Electricity, Chris Kreider, who is becoming a fan favorite in Anaheim. No surprise there. Kind of taking on like a Farley kind of role for the team. We got, looks like here, a mini stickers here with Theo Fleury and Brian Leach. Now, these last three cards I want to show, and they're all the goalie cards. So you look at this right here, and you're thinking like, oh, okay. So it's Marty Brodeur, John Van Beesbrook. Well, like if you open it up, it flips it to both sides, or if you flip it over, it works like that. But it's like they're very like barely stuck together, and it works fine on that one. But like I was kind of like weird in a way. It's the stand-up guys with like flip it around like that. But I thought it should be, in this one, it's actually the right side with Lolim, and like I don't know. Like some of them are the right way, some of them aren't. I just felt it was a very weird set.
I get why they tried it.
Yeah. It's
I don't love it. Yes. I'm okay trying something and seeing how it looks, but I do not like it.
Do not approve. Same thing here, like with what was it, DA Bear and Trevor Kidd. It's not cutting the mustard. It's just a little. But I figures I throw them in. Why not? For $1 each, right? Can't go wrong. That wraps up this edition of I Love Lucy.
Yeah. By the way, Michael Pittman, 3-year, $59 million extension with the Steelers.
So the Ravens get deeper with Max Crosby on defense. New coaches and stuff down there.
Steelers add another weapon at receiver.
The Bengals haven't done anything yet. Browns haven't done anything yet. But looks like it's going to be a Steelers Ravens 2-horse race again in the Central or the AFC North.
Correct. Yes, I want to call it the Central too, so I don't blame you.
It kind of feels more central, but that wraps up this edition of Rip N Riff. You can always reach out to the show at ripnriff@gmail.com. Or Jared's thoughts on the trade deadline here from the Devils. You can catch it all about thejersey.com. What's the next one coming up here?
On Wednesday, they're not going to the playoffs this year, so I'm writing this week about what can they hope to accomplish the rest of the way.
Don't finish last in the Metro. Finish ahead of the Rangers. That's about it. That would be.
Who knows? There's only one way to know. Is the only one way to find out.
YouTube at Jared Moore Poker as well for some really cool poker shorts and content. Total Hockey Now coming at you Thursday. We'll go back to our usual Thursday format, talk a little fantasy hockey playoffs and all that good stuff. If we're at Mr. Jared Moore, I am at Pucking Thoughts Adam Bernard. We'll be off next Monday. Be back to the 23rd on Rip N Riff here on the Rip N Riff YouTube channel.